Hello there. So I have been working on a project for about a year or so, and it's one of those things that I haven't really put a ton of effort into. It's just like minimal effort here and there. And then I have spurts where I'm like, okay, this is like the next thing that I'm working on. And then I do for a bit, but then we run into some sort of problem, like a technical problem or like mostly the technical problem, or something comes up and I run out of time, and so I can't really finish doing this project. Like, it's a big project. And so recently, this summer, the last few months, I decided that this was a thing that I wanted to focus on because my sister was working with me and I only had her for a short amount of time because she was going back to school in September. And so I thought, okay, this is great. My sister has a lot of great skills that are hard to find. They're hard to find all of those kinds of skills in the same person. So I was like, great, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna get her to do a bunch of the stuff that needs to be done that I don't want to do, like policy writing, like privacy policy writing and video editing and like marketing, like copywriting for this project. And I was like, great, she's gonna do all this stuff. And she did all this stuff. And we ran into a problem with the software itself, the place in which we're going to host this online project that we're doing. And then so it sort of came to a halt. But now I'm at a point where we've solved that problem and we're right at the edge of either I decide it's just going to be a back burner project forever because I have this idea that somehow I'm going to put in a minimal amount of effort and then it's going to have huge returns for me. Definitely never the case. That's never the case where you have a tiny bit of effort that just produces huge returns. I mean, maybe not never, but I can't think of an example. Yeah, I can't think of an example. Let me know if you think of one, though. We're just like tiny bit of effort, huge return, because I should be in that business. So I either have just need to do that and let go of this idea that it's going to be a huge part of the business, or I need to go all in and just focus my time on this. And so I'm having this dilemma where, it's another piece of the business. So it's related to the main service that I offer, which is the monthly subscription to small business owners. I support them, and it's a high touch service. I do bookkeeping. It's like I am the finance department for small business owners. And so this is more like a product, that it's an information product that I'm developing. And so it's similar, but a completely different thing. So it's not like going to make my business more efficient or any of that. It's a whole separate thing. So it's going to take quite a bit of my time and my effort. And I can't just let the other piece of the business fall apart, because that's the thing that I do. And so I'm having this dilemma. Do I invest my time into this new piece of the business and in hopes of it growing and becoming more of a passive income than the business that I currently have? Or do I just sort of let it be what it is? It sort of simmers forever, and I use it to support the small business owners who are currently clients. And what I want to do is I want to go all in. I want to put a bunch of time into this. I have recently hired a CPA, so I can offload big pieces of the work that I have to them, and it feels like a really good time to do this. But as an accountant, it's not enough for it to feel like the right thing to be doing. And that's part of it. I'm not saying that that's an invalid feeling in any way, but it's not enough for me. So to me, I am going to be thinking about, this is the process that I'm going to be going through, and just saying, okay, what is the pricing structure for this new information product? What is the projected revenue for it? And that number is really, really hard to pin down because you just don't know for the most part. That one's the hardest number. What kind of fixed costs am I going to have going forward? How much do I need to invest of my own time and my money? Because I have to, inevitably in the beginning, it's going to lose money before it makes money. What kind of marketing effort am I going to need for this? What are my break-even points? So how many subscribers do I need to break even on this? Because if my subscriber number is like, oh, I need 1,000 to break even, then that may not be viable. Or I need to have another look at my costs or my pricing. Either costs or pricing. That's the only two ways to make money. Reduce your costs, increase your price. So I am going to be going through all of these exercises, probably more exercises than what I listed. And I'm just going to see what is the potential small upside of doing this, and what is the potential, what's the biggest potential for downside, and what's the smallest potential for upside. I'm going to look at what's the largest potential for upside, but that's not what I want to focus on, because I don't want to get like dollar signs in my eyeballs and thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm going to like, this is going to be amazing, and I'm going to be rich or whatever, doing it. I just want to be really realistic and say like, okay, what's the smallest potential for upside here? And then what's the biggest potential for downside on this? And then the same thing for not doing it. What is the potential upside and what's the potential downside of just not doing it and leaving it as a back burner project? These types of exercises for deciding whether to do a project or not, especially on the accounting side, or the financial side, if that's not your thing. But also it's hard to answer these questions for yourself because you're like right in the weeds of it. So I find it really helpful to talk through some of this stuff with somebody else. So if this feels like you, if you're about to start a project, or you're just sort of beginning on a project and you're not really sure whether this is something that's worth your time, or that you're trying to make a decision between two different projects maybe, let's chat. Book a free 30 minutes with me. We'll just go through some of these questions and we'll just map it out and just sort of figure out what is the best option for you. And we'll look at a couple different scenarios so that you can make some choices. And maybe it's an excellent choice for you to do this project. It just takes a few like tweaks before you get going. So I always love to know those things before I start and not after I start, because a lot of times I've already invested something after I start. Yeah. That's a story for another time. I hope you guys are doing well. Please book free 30 minutes with me if this feels like you. I'd love to chat with you about your projects and just see what your best path forward is. I hope you're doing well. Did I say that already? I mean it. I'll see you tomorrow.